Well, welcome back, my friends, for another fun reloading video. It is Sunday, and we're just doing what I call reloading chores. Been really busy with work lately, so haven't had a lot of time to get caught up on all these projects that, you end up with 10 of eventually. So, got some bullets to size, I've got some brass to prep, I've got my press mount here, except I still need hardware to get the mount onto the bench, so I'm just using some clamps, and as you can see we have some counterweight that's gonna fall off. So yeah, all kinds of crap going on, but we're gonna do what we need to do to get where we need to get. So what I'm sizing here, I've got some 200 grain semi-wad cutters, 452 200 from Lee. I got the 2 cavity mold a little while back. Something like this, 452 200 semi-wad cutter. They're dropping at about 203 grains to 205-ish. Once I got the mold up to temp, which is pretty easy with the old hot plate method, we were rocking and rolling. And I just need to get a little brake cleaner to knock out some of that oil and stuff from it being new. But once all that got, burned out or whatever, it was dropping some mighty fine projectiles. And now we're just sizing them up. Along with that, we also have the 452 252 semi-wad cutter. And these are dropping at about 260 grains, actually. So I'm just sizing them all together. They were made at the same time. Woo! There goes my counterweight. Should probably watch that. Anyways, yeah, I cast them at the same time, back to back, from the same alloy. So there'll be some nice, plinking rounds. They're a softer blend. I used maybe a third of the pot was full of pure lead, and then the other maybe a little bit less than 2/3, because I didn't want to have it overflowing, was just range scrap. So it's a little bit softer than your normal range scrap, but that's just fine. These are going to be, obviously they're powder coated, and they're not going to be moving too quickly. I've just got a couple pieces of the 45 Cowboy Special brass, which is essentially 45 ACP, except it'll fit in your 45 Colt cylinder. Jesus Christ. I need to figure out something to do with this, like get some proper hardware, I tell you what. Yeah, anyways, we'll just continue on without that, and we'll have to just lean into her a little better. Along with this not being stuck to the desk, this is barely attached here. But they're not creeping back or anything, but, super fun, good times. It's probably about time to empty this guy as well. So I've just got a cardboard box over here to catch them for now, and then I can separate them later into their different boxes for storage. But don't worry, there's plenty more after these. I've got a whole bunch of 35, 358 200s, and then some 312 155s. So I was making some 350 Legend or 35 Remington food, as well as something for the 300 Blackout. I got 6 cavity molds for those. I've been using the 2 cavities, which are fine. They're just considerably slower. So I was able to crank out about 10 pounds of each of those, but we'll get to those in a little while. Anyways, I'll see you in a minute once we're done with these, and we'll go on to the next project. Okay, so I got all these sized and all that fun stuff. They're right at 452 on the dot. Go Lee sizer. It's actually my first time using this specific 452 sizer or casting in a 452 projectiles. But you see we got an average of 204 grains. I just measured 5 of them. And then 262 here on these. And just recycled some old Hornady boxes I had. But yeah, a nice mix of the ruby red and forward blue. And same over here. So I think those came out nicely. Those will be ready to go. And ready for storage, ready for loading, all that fun stuff. So along with finally getting some projectiles made, I'm going to start loading up some of these 45 Cowboy Specials. Some Starline brass there, brand new. Basically 45 ACP load data. Then we've got some 45 Colt we're going to use for the heavier boys there. And then we've got some 454 Casol that will be, you know, playing with all of it. So that'll be fun. And at some point in the future, I've got some 450 Bushmaster brass here. So that means, you know, you have to get a new firearm once you have enough brass for it. So we'll get some dies and I'll get an upper here someday, who knows when, and we'll go from there. But until then, we have all these other fun things to start with, start making up our own load data, all that fun stuff. So stay tuned for that. And now on to more sizing of bullets. So I lied. We're going to go ahead and do some brass prep instead of sizing the next batch of bullets, just so I can get these in the tumbler and get that started. And then we'll get back to sizing some projectiles, but this way I can get 2 birds stoned at once and get it all done at the same time instead of waiting to do the other thing-a-do. But this is all once fired Winchester range brass, and they have crimped primer pockets from the factory for whatever reason, so just doing a quick little ream job there. Not taking too much off, just the first little lip to break that angle and make your primer able to slide right on in. I did already trim and do everything else for these, but I forgot about the primer's pockets. But I've got another almost 200 pieces that need trimmed and chamfered and deburred, and I got this other tool there to deburr your flash hole, which I've never done, but these Winchester cases were pretty bad. Or rather, I just have done it my first time. Yeah, these Winchester cases are pretty bad. But we used our Lyman MSR die set with the small base sizing die, and everything went pretty smoothly. Except I did have 5 that no matter what I did would not size the base, even with my small base die. And also, I did get 1 stuck case, but the Lyman die makes it pretty easy to pull out the decapping rod. And then I actually just put my Lee universal decapping rod back into it and smacked it with a hammer a few times, because that's what Lee recommends. And it worked, so stuck case was removed without frustration. And, you know, chucked that one into the garbage, along with about 4 others that didn't get stuck, but were still unsizable and they would not pass the gauge. I tried resetting the die and giving it extra cam over, but nothing else seemed to work, so they didn't pass the headspace or chamber gauge, so they got tossed. Alright, so that like 30 something there are done now. I've got about not 200 left in there, but we'll see how far we can get done with those here now. Well, I wanted to reach and turn it off, but that turned it off for me, so boom. So here we are out back at the old casting table where you probably should not set your mold down. Anyways, we got the miniature fart here, and Obviously it's too loud to run while I'm talking, but we'll just let her go for an hour or two while I'm cleaning up around the house and doing chores, and then we'll go ahead and rinse them off and let them dry from there. All right, so we've got our 350 Legend brass all done and dried and all prettied up and ready to go. We are back here with our press stand actually attached to the bench here, and we are finally sizing our 358 200 grain Lee cast round nose. We're sizing those to 358 right now. They're dropping, and now as powder coated, approximately 360 or 362. They're pretty hard to push through here, but with a little bit of persistence, anything is possible, I tell you what now. Next, I'll have the Lee 312-155. These were both cast out of a mostly linotype with some range scrap mix. Probably 50-50 range scrap, 50-50 linotype. So should be able to, you know, hit 2,000, 2,500, somewhere up in that range if I really wanted to push it that hard, which I will not be able to do with these. So that's good, and I probably won't be able to do with these either unless I go in 308, but no need to push that high. If I can find velocity between, you know, 1,800 and 2,000, somewhere in that range, I'll be happy with that. And I've also got a Pat Marlin 30 caliber gas check maker on the way. Oopsie. So once that comes in, I will, you know, gas check these here, because those will be for both 300 Blackout and 308 Winchester. If I could find a nice, fun plinking load with these for the M1A, whoopsie, that would be pretty cool, and better than paying 30 cents for a Full Metal Jacket or something, you know what I'm saying? So that'd be cool if I could achieve that with some powder coating and gas checking. If I could get a nice 100-yard load, that would cycle a semi-auto. That'd be pretty cool. I do have a 300 Blackout load, but I want to kind of, you know, dial that back and find a really good velocity spot. Anyways, I'm just rambling. This is filling up pretty quickly, although it is taking some effort. I've got them in this box here so I can keep them separate. Gotta keep them separated. Anyways, yeah, I'll have these sized at 358 to go into here. And then if I want to size them down to 356 for the 350 Legend, then I'll pull out 50 or whatever for that day and load those up like that. Or size them down and then load them up or whatever. Or leave them at 358, load them up in the 35 Remington. I think that's, you know, pretty easy to hit 1,800 feet per second with that one. I got a nice load with H335, 35 grains of H335 for the 35 Remington. Works out pretty well. Ah, easy there, dummy. All right, so we're about to get into the lid portion here. Time to dump this out. Don't spill none, okay. There we go, and then we'll just toss them in here. So there's a good, nice look at those. A couple bald spots on them, but that's, you know, nothing too bad to worry about. Not the end of the world. Some of the bases, they might be plain, but there wasn't a whole lot of tear out, so they're nice and flat. And this isn't going to be contacting or rifling, so no need to worry about not getting powder coated right there. Oopsie. But yeah, it looks like we got good coverage along all of the driving bands. And these should work pretty well. I'd say if we were hunting some piggies or something, these could be some good skull busters or, you know, whatever. It'd be fun. All right, just a couple more here and then we'll be done with these projectiles. Then we can move on to the 312s, but I might hold off on those until I get the old gas check maker so that I can do that in one step instead of doing it twice for no reason at all. So I might just wait on that. And last one. There we go. I'm going to check this pan over here with the other projectiles and make sure I don't have any others. All right, let's stump this feller out here. And those are all 358. We'll get the sizing die out. And of course, it always has one or two of them hostage. There we go. Yeah, nice, beautiful bullets there. You can see where they've been sized nice and slick around the bands. Ready to rock and roll. Sized right at 358. That die is usually pretty right on the money. And these bullets have been actually sitting for a couple weeks actually, so they have reached their, you know, hardness potential. There's probably not going to be a lot of springback or anything like that over time. So we're going to put this guy away, and I'll actually got this little cardboard box I taped up with a label on it. We'll mark that so I can get it on the shelf and know what the heck I'm looking at. And I decided to skip sizing these down to 309 for now and wait till I get the old gas check maker. But for now, we have our 358 200s all sized down to 358. Those were right around 202 grains, somewhere maybe 202.2, 202.7, right around there, but we'll call it 202. We got a nice little, well, ooh, those are some older ones I had, but we have a good addition to the pile for now to play with. So plenty of options there. And of course we got our 452s done, both the 200 grain and the 252 grain semi-wad cutters. 350 Legend brass is all nice and prettied up, ready to get primed and reloaded, of course. And the press finally has a mount finally attached to the bench. It still wiggles a little bit, not quite as much as before. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. Anyways, if you enjoy this sort of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you haven't already. Also, you can support the channel over on patreon.com/dummyround. Check me out on Instagram as well and dummyroundreloading.com. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good one.